Hi guys, welcome back to Moments with Gabby, a show where we give you an in-depth analysis on various topics. On today's topic, we'll be talking about tech. We'll be talking to a tech expert who will tell us more about his world. Stay tuned for more. I am your host, Gabrielle Mossa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us who you are.
Okay, guys, so my name is King David, and I'm the founder and CEO of SPC Universe. I think I should just keep it there so that I don't go deeper.
Okay, give us a brief summary of who you are,
Okay, so I like to call myself an innovator. I basically look out for where problems are and try to look out for how technology can solve those problems. And we've been able to do that across various industries, just using technology to solve some of the major problems in different industries, basically.
Okay. What made you venture into the technology space?
So as much as I can remember, I would say that I've always been big on technology. So shout out to my parents. They were able to get me involved in computer very early.
Okay.
I began using, I think I'm among those that use Web1, the first display web when there was no social media. Web was like a display kind of thing. Those days the monitors were so big.
Yeah.
I always loved the whole computer thing. Even while I was a student, I already had computers and all. And then I think the big part was when I became a graduate and I left school and I moved into entrepreneurship. I've never done like a 9 to 5, so I didn't have the opportunity to work. So I became an entrepreneur, and I kind of saw that being an entrepreneur was hard. But then technology kind of made it easier in the beginning, because I remember the first entrepreneurship I did. I owned a modeling firm and a fashion company. I mean, you're surprised.
Yeah.
And the amazing part was that I was able to build it in a very short while by leveraging on social media. So I would run social media ads. I would had models in various states in my country, and I would use social media to also match them with jobs and all. So it was actually solving a major thing. And from there, I got into network marketing. I became a digital marketer, and it was all just using the internet it was paying my bills. It was, I was building companies on it. I was helping people to solve problems on it, and that just made me understand. So all through my entrepreneurship journey, I've been an entrepreneur in various fields. Technology has always been a core part. So I don't get into any form of entrepreneurship without looking for a way to use technology to solve whatever problem is there, or get things better.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
They say social media makes the world a global
Absolutely.
village, so I'm sure that really helped.
Absolutely, it's helped a lot.
So what made you branch from your modeling business to now focus specifically on technology?
Well, I would say, let me just be honest. I would say money. So I think it's better to be honest. So it comes to a time where maybe the kind of money you're looking for. So I'm someone that I don't like wasting my time, and I've always known what I wanted very early. And it kind of helped me. I literally went to school very early. I went to university early. I came out early. So I've always had this. If I'm doing something, I want to see the reward is equals to my effort. So basically the money was coming from the modeling whole thing, fashion and all of that, but it wasn't coming what I could use to build the kind of global company that I'm able to be building right now. So I knew that I needed to do more, definitely before you can make $1 million.
You have to start somewhere.
I really don't know I don't know that it's Louis Vuitton or Gucci. We have done for like 5 to 10 campaigns. But then you could see tech companies in 12 months being valued at 2 million, 3 million. I said, I think this is better. I could impact more lives. And apart from just the money part, another thing that actually caught my attention was that if I succeed with technology and I'm able to make a lot of money from this, and I'm able to also increase my impact, I can help more people. I can help more organizations. I can impact more people, and it can be more useful to other people. So that's part of what got me there. I love the way technology solves a lot of problems, and I love the money it comes with too.
So the money was.
Yeah, the money.
It's good.
Please pay attention to the money, please. It's very important.
That brings me to my question. What made you have a company, first of all?
Yes.
It's called SPC Universe.
Yes.
When did you found it?
Okay, so to the general public, people know SPC as we just celebrated our 1 year anniversary in April. But then the whole concept of Silver Spoon, because that's the full meaning, Silver Spoon Continent, has been existing since 2017. You know, I've always had this vision to build an ecosystem, you know, a community of, just like what I was, you know, sharing with you shortly, a community of like minds where talents can collaborate with entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs can collaborate with investors, investors can collaborate with government, a working ecosystem. Because, you know, I somehow just understood early that one of the major problems in Africa is our lack of working together, our lack of collaboration. You know, so the whole essence of Silver Spoon, now people have asked why the name Silver Spoon. Right? And the reason is, so I personally, I was born with, you can say silver spoon, basically, you know, so, but I would tell lies, so I went through hell. Yeah, I went through hell, truth be told, because of when I decided to leave my silver spoon. You know, when you choose to be stubborn, and they say, okay, we'll show you something. But the truth, I was born with a silver spoon, and I got things easy. But when I entered university, I kind of found out that it wasn't as simple as that. People were going through stuff, people were suffering, you know, people graduated from school, which is the part that really, really pricked me. And then they graduate with the hope that life gets better, but instead it even gets worse. Yeah. In fact, it's like the period they were in school, people were even helping them more, but now it's like, you're a graduate, so, you know, help yourself. You know, so when I delved into technology, I was like, technology, this is it. Technology can really, really liberate people and make them rich. You know, one of the goals I had in mind was to build a structure whereby people could use technology and give themselves a silver spoon. So if you were not born with a silver spoon, you can make sure that your next generation will be born with a silver spoon by leveraging on these infrastructures to build wealth for yourself. So that was the whole, you know, concept of the name Silver Spoon, which has been existing since 2017. You know, but SPC Universe, which is like a function of the name, was set up in 2022. And the goal was to focus on digital transformation, you know, but in the larger perspective, Silver Spoon has always been a long-term thing that has always been there. Yeah,
I like that analogy of the silver spoon. So one of your company's objectives is helping other companies, or like, you know, in the digitalization space, helping startup companies or larger companies investing into startup companies. Tell us more about that. How you're able to get that done, to achieve it.
Yeah. So that is at the core part of what we've always done. You know, we've always been during COVID. SMEs were having issues with, you know, sales, scaling, and all. And we gave out digital sustenance grants to over 300 SMEs, right? We built websites for them, e-commerce platforms for them, you know, help them to set up, you know, abilities to sell online without having the physical, you know, structure and all. And we've always been on that. And then as we grew more as an ecosystem, presently we have a founders ecosystem for startups, and we have an SMEs ecosystem. Now for the SMEs ecosystem, we invest in SMEs by ourselves. So we did 100K USD raising that is strictly for SMEs. Like, so the goal is we're going to be investing in between 50 to 100 SMEs within the next 18 months across the African markets. And the goal for that is, when you look at the funding gap, venture capital, you look at a lot of venture capital, they invest into startups. And in as much as they invest into startups, the funny thing is 90% of startups fail. And they die. So you ask yourself, if 90% of startups are failing and dying, where is the economy? What's the economy around this, right? Because this is millions of USD lost, and until we have those critical conversations, we'll keep burning money in the continent, and the continent doesn't grow. Now, the big question is, why is the venture capital not bothered that 90% of startups are failing? Because to them, it's like a gamble too. You know, if they invest in 10, they just need 2 big wins. So they don't look at it from the concept of impact. They end up mostly investing in projects that are, you know, quote unquote out there, traction and all of that. And most of the time, most of those projects are not profitable, sadly enough. You know, but then you see that simple SME who is selling food, or who is maybe contributing those small things. It looks small to you, but these guys contribute up to 49% of the global economy, small and medium businesses. So we try to bridge that gap, and we are presently, building the largest investment fund for SMEs in Africa. Why for startups? We don't directly invest into startups, but what we do is we try to match startups with investors. We presently launched a sort of an investor pool, within our network, whereby investors can actually pool funds for the purpose of investing into, startups. So that's what we do. Another part we also do for organizations is to also match them with talents. We have a talent ecosystem of some of the best software developers, product designers, product developers who can, help them to build their products. So if they're looking for those type of talents, we help them to do that matching. And the final part is global expansion, which is at the core of what we try to do for organizations. One of the biggest problems in Africa is we all want to expand into Europe, US, but we've not even expanded into Africa. I remember when I wanted to start the global expansion tour, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, where are you starting from?" And I said, "I'm starting from Africa." Like, where will I start from Dubai? No. Or Europe or US? You've not expanded, you've not explored your African continent, and then you want to explore the European continent. So I'm not against you exploring all the continents, but what I'm saying is global expansion should start from home. Even in Nigeria, we didn't just expand out of Nigeria. We expanded in the 36 states in the country. We expanded in various states in the country. So we try to help startups to do that, through events, through community. Startups who want to expand into another country and they need maybe the regulatory policies who can help them to incorporate talents in the country too, so we can actually help a startup to expand into a new country, new personnel, all the legalities involved, everything you need to to get it done there. Yeah,
I like that you're shifting the conversation from big companies going to invest outside of their continent and learning how to invest in SMEs in the continent.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like if African what do you call them, African companies work together, then
you produce more.
Yeah, and it will be a change of Africa's narrative.
True.
Alright guys, I hope you're enjoying the conversation. We're going to take a short break for now. Share in the comments of what you think of the conversation so far. Welcome back guys to this new segment. I hope you have been enjoying. Please comment on what you're thinking about this show. In the previous segment we talked about the technology space, why he ventured into it and his company. In this new segment we'll be talking about industrialization of African companies and his Web3 tour that he's doing in Africa. So you're currently doing a Web3 tour in Africa. Tell us more about that.
All right. So, first of all, why Web3 Tour? Because I could have been another tour. It could be entrepreneurs tour, it could be talents tour, whatever. Yeah. But why Web3 Tour? So as someone who has been a major advocate for digital transformation, I know and I understand that Web3 is the future of digital transformation. And when I talk about Web3, people get to ask me, what is Web3? And that's the next question people get to ask me, what is Web3? Yeah. And a lot of people look at Web3 from the crypto perspective. Some call it NFT, some think it's the metaverse. But all of these are all a function of Web3. So what we have is we have Web3 as the internet layer, the future of the internet. And then we have the underlying technology, which is the blockchain, AI, and IoT. And then we have the infrastructure, which are the products, which is crypto, NFTs, the metaverse, the DAOs, and the rest of them. So the reason why it's a Web3 global expansion tour is two important things. Number one is this is the future. And one of the things that has always helped me is I've always focused on what's coming. Africa is one of the highest consumers of a lot of things, including social media. But yet we do not have our own social media platform that was actually successful, like big and really used by Africans. With a continent of 1.2 billion people, we ought to have our own, in fact we have the capacity to have our own social media platform and be okay with it. Now, but then you see us not being able to get these things done, and what we try to do with the global expansion tour in Web3 is to prepare Africans ahead, because something is about to happen. If we are not prepared, we will consume again. And in Web2, we consumed a lot. And sadly, we did not collaborate in Web2. Africans were the consumers, we are not collaborators. And Web3 presents us, imagine when you fail the test first time, and then the test is coming back to you again.
Yeah.
So Web3 is bringing an open playground globally. So this future we are talking about, nobody has laid hands on it, right? You understand what I mean? Europe hasn't figured it out yet. US hasn't figured it out yet. Asia hasn't figured it. Same to Africa. And funny enough, Africa is leading the charts in terms of adoption, in terms of even figuring it out. But yet again, we are waiting for them to create the policies, then we can use their policies. We're waiting for them to build the products, and then we can use their products. We're waiting for them to come and hire the talents. What happens to us building our own policies? What happens to us building our own products? What happens to us building our own talents, right? So that when we move into this new dispensation that we've moved into, Africa can have our own metaverse, not the one built by Britain, the one built by us, that can tell the African stories. African founders can hire African talents, and African talents can know that they can work with African founders and they can actually scale, right? So the goal of the Web3 Tour is to make sure that Africa becomes a leading pioneer. So that's why we started with the African Tour, which should be ending somewhere towards the end of this year, and we'll be moving over with the Europe Tour. Now what we've done is, what we've done in the African continent, we're now going to be able to match up with the people on the African continent with the global economy, because I'm not talking about a secluded economy, which is another very important thing I should say. I'm not advocating for seclusion, like Africa should seclude, like no. What I'm saying is Africa should be responsible for ourselves, right? We should be responsible enough to lead innovations and also impact the global economy. It's not every time they are impacting us. This time around, let's be the ones that say, oh, the biggest Web3 products, the biggest innovations now came from Africa. It's not a crime. You understand? It all shows that, it actually shows that the world is growing when evolution and revolutions and innovations come from places where you least expected it. Yeah.
I love that we're now having this talk. There have also been very many blockchain events that have been happening, talking about the same Web3. So I feel like now Africa is really waking up.
Absolutely.
Which countries have you toured, and which countries are you going to tour?
So I've toured a lot, but then at the moment we've toured most in West Africa, most in East Africa. Now we are about to go more into the North African market. I'm going to Morocco, like I told you, for GITEX, and after that I'll be exploring the ecosystem there, Egypt as well. We're also exploring Algeria too, and we've already explored South Africa. So I think, because what we do it based on regions. We expand into continents on a regional plan. So when we began expanding, it was to expand to the west, east, north, and the south, which we basically done, like I said 90% of that expansion.
Do you think the conversation is being had well? Are people being receptive to the conversation?
Yeah, so I think it all depends on how the conversation is presented. So it's all a presentation game. So I personally, I don't present crypto, right?
Yeah,
I don't present crypto.
Sometimes their minds
closes the door, like crypto, door closed. But I present. But when I tell you of Web3, so there is no office I walk into, whether it's government or whatever, and once I start talking on Web3, you must listen to me, because almost every smart person or an investor or a player knows that there is a new internet that is coming, and it's not going to be the old way we play the internet. So when I focus on Web3 and I tell you that I'm advocating for Web3, this is the future of digital transformation, it covers the whole crypto, and it's like a more beautiful PR, that covers the crypto, the NFTs, and all of that. So you don't get to look at those infrastructure, because we've not even seen the whole infrastructures. More is coming. This is not the end of DeFi. All of this we are seeing is just the in the next 10 years, people understand that this we are just. In fact, you will end up discovering that this we are just like the first ones. Imagine when Bitcoin became Bitcoin in 2010. Some people that felt that maybe that was it. But within how many years, how many number of coins do we have? Like more than 6,000. So the more we expand, the more innovation comes, which is good, because the more innovation comes, the more competition, the more value is brought to the ecosystem. Personally, just a quick add on this, I am against seeing people building in the space when they were not entrepreneurs before. I say that again. Imagine you coming into the space and you just become an entrepreneur. And you say, "Nan, I want to tokenize real estate." Hello? Before talking about tokenizing real estate, have you played in the real estate sector?
Do you know how it works?
Because that thing you're saying, tokenization, is simply a leverage. It's not the product, it's a leveler. The product is the real estate.
So you can't know how it works.
Exactly. You can't come and be telling us you're going to tokenize real estate when you don't know, you've not done real estate. So we have a lot of people becoming entrepreneurs in Web3 and they've not been entrepreneurs before. That's why we have failed projects. Because they don't know that it's not just about the name, it's simply a leveler. It's the same way you run a normal business. If you don't know how to run a normal business, you will still fail in running, a Web3 business. So that's also important. We need more Web2 entrepreneurs, people that are just normal, traditional entrepreneurs, embracing the technology. Because when they embrace it, we'll build more solid projects because they know what we need and they know how to use the technology.
So one of your goals is to digitize companies.
Yes.
And you said, in fact, in your bio, you'd like to digitalize all companies.
Every.
Do you think that's possible?
Very possible. Same way I think that it's possible to tokenize every industry on earth. It's very possible. In fact, in the next 10 years, we'll be living in a hybrid world. We are living in one now, but it's not like it's supposed to be. That would be, we'll have like, you can spend 6 hours physically and 8 hours virtually. And you just have to spend it virtually, because if you don't spend it, it should be like you're cut off. This kind of interview could be done virtually. Recorded, done. Sounds like all those movies in Hollywood.
No, but it's true.
But it's happening. It's coming, it's happening. So I personally believe that for organizations and even individuals to survive what's coming, because we talk about it from the happy part, oh, this is coming, but you have to survive it. It's not enough that it's coming. Can you survive it? Can you be relevant then? Digitalization has to be a major conversation. And that's why we keep on advocating for digital transformation, because they're all under the same discussions. Digital transformation talks about digitalization of industries, tokenization of industries, and the rest of them. So yeah, I believe it's possible for every, and it mustn't be big. It mustn't be like you can't build one app. When we use the word digitalization, it's not necessarily building one app or something, but leveraging on digital technologies to advance your markets, make more sales, do more things.
What are some of the benefits of digitalizing your
global reach, more sales, more revenue, even more access to capital, right? Something like crowdfunding, for instance, has become a major way startups can raise funds. You couldn't have done crowdfunding in the past, before maybe 10 years ago, without things like what the present technologies we have today, like blockchain, that allows people to pull funds together and do all of that. So it's just like people are saying, okay, if we fractionalize and tokenize real estate, what's the value? The value is that every common man can own a property. Every common man can co-own a property, can co-own a land, can co-own a house. Every common man can invest in real estate. It means that more properties will be built, because I can be invested in 100 properties by co-owning all of them. So more liquidity into the system. So the truth is that the advantages are always more. The same way there are definitely disadvantages, but on the advantage part, when you weigh them, the advantages are always more. The disadvantages could be lesser need of manpower, and the truth is the lesser need of manpower depends on what the manpower was doing, because just like people say AI will take people's jobs, not necessarily. It will simply change the job game, right? So if you were only say this is it that skill may not be necessary, doesn't mean that another job has not been created. This is why this skill becomes obsolete, a new skill becomes important. So it is now your responsibility to do that transitioning, basically.
People really need to be versed
and informed, like what you guys are doing,
yeah.
Informing people, because this is information. Now someone can watch this and wake up and say, okay, man, I just heard things. You know, a founder could be watching this and say, you know what, in the next so and so months, you're going to have a portfolio of 10 new companies funded by us. And that's what we are trying to drive. that awareness, because it first starts with being aware.
Yeah, awareness. How many companies have you been able to digitalize so far?
A lot. Like, I don't think I can give you the number or round figure, but a lot, at least over 100 SMEs, startups in various countries, in different levels. We've done it in different levels. Some on big level, having them have an app, some on just leveraging on social media, some just having a proper CRM tool, depending on what they are trying to achieve. But a lot, with like a lot.
And they've been able to continue standing by themselves, like
Absolutely. Like, depending on what you want to achieve, once you set it up for you, we always provide the whole consultancy and support in case you want to scale or you have whatever challenges in maintaining it.
all right. So apart from all things technology, what else do you do, or what do you like to do for fun?
Okay, so what do I like to do for fun? I like sleeping. I like eating.
Sleeping and eating.
I love eating. Call me to where the food parties are. I love food parties. Have you gone for a food party before? You need to go for a food testing party where they're just testing
You just eat different recipes.
So go call me for all those type of things. So, but I think my hobby is teaching. I love teaching. I teach a lot. In fact, my whole business is structured a lot around teaching, consultancy, speaking, and also I love teaching. I can, like, someone was asking me, what's the Guinness Book of Record you can break? I said, I can teach. I'll teach for 11 days.
Straight.
11 straight days of teaching. So yeah, I love that. And one other thing, I think I like dancing too. I used to be a professional dancer.
Really?
Actually owned a dance crew when I was a student. So I like the whole, sometimes I just wake up and I'm just giving myself some vibes in my room. But apart from that, I'm more of an indoor. I'm not much of a very social person, even though people think I'm social because of they see me most times in meetups, so they assume my sociality. But in the default state, I just want to be in my room talking to nobody, looking on my laptop and eating burger.
Burger is your favorite food?
Yeah, I like bread. Anything that has bread and chicken and cheese. They say it's not healthy, but God will help us.
Will help.
At least I'm not fat.
Alright, thank you very much for coming into this interview. I really enjoyed myself.
Same here. It was fun.
Tell the people where they can find you.
So you can follow me on LinkedIn. Just search for King David and you see me. On Instagram, _King Eternal. And on Facebook also, Dave J. Daniel or King David, and you'll be able to see me. And you can Google about my company, SPC Universe, and you can read on what we've done, what we are doing, and how we want to work with you, because we want to work with you.
He wants to work with you guys.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching and staying tuned. I hope you have learned a thing or two. I have been your host, Gabriel Mosa. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And follow us on all our social media platforms at NewsunplugKE. See you guys until next time.